You guys ever watch the Weed Report? I loved Dave Warden's little man cry out, Jack's pussy man. I'd clear that bowl 3 times over, man. Sorry for the clanging jars, but I'm trying to pack a bowl here. And I was just doing the man. And I was like, how annoying would it be if that is what I opened the podcast with? I would lose everybody who didn't know what that was. And you know what? That would be okay. Because it would just be a day full of Dave Warden fans. And that sounds like an awesome day. Packing a bowl here of some Candy Kush and Jack Frost. Jack Frost came just in time for the season. Not really. Well, kind of. I had to save it for a little bit for the season. But Jack Frost is a blueberry, sativa dominant type bud. Yeah. Very nice. It's one of my favorites. It's one of the first buds I smoked. And the second that I take a toke of it in any medium, I immediately go back to the taste of it in a cognac Dutch Master Blunt. It's a wonderful strain. I love to smoke it every time. Just anything blueberry, really. Just really tasty. And the high is usually very nice, very cheerful. And the Candy Kush is just super duper tasty. Though now, actually, that it's been curing for a while, it went from smelling like sweet tarts to smelling like a kind of almost sour fruit. It's very interesting. You would almost think it was moldy by the smell, but not really. It's just sour. Very interesting. But the taste is still just super duper sweet. Unrealistically sweet. Miss WeedPornDaily took a hit, and she was like, that was fake. What you just gave me was fake. And I was like, I know, baby. I know. That shit's crazy. Candy Kush. Seriously, though, I do wonder what the grower necessarily was feeding this plant. Was he giving it some serious nutrients? Because it is pretty tasty. Unreal tasty. It does, and it burns very poorly. That's why I say nutrient. But yeah, I'm babbling here. The Weed Porn Daily podcast is brought to you by the Weed Porn Daily Stoner Shop. Check it out. Clothing for cannabis connoisseurs. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops. We've even got pillows. We've got full print tote bags. We've got cases for your iPhone, BlackBerry. All that. BlackBerry? Did I just say BlackBerry? Are they BlackBerries? I forget. It's the Galaxy something. I'm dating. Yeah, that's how much I dated myself right there. BlackBerry. But we have iPhone and Galaxy cases, and we also have skins for both of those, as well as laptops. So if you want to cover your laptop or your iMac or whatever in a big print of weed, you've got the place to go. Shop.weedporndaily.com. We also have kids clothing now in stock. Children's onesies and kids tees, children's size tees. So if you're a very, very small adult and you've been trying to get a perfectly sized cannabis tee, or maybe you just have kids and you want to pimp them out in some cannabis clothing, check it out. The onesies are really comedic, man, because it's just very funny to see just baby print, a baby thing and cannabis on it. It's very silly. But check it out. Shop.weedporndaily.com. We actually got some protests to the kids' clothing. People were messaging me how dare you stock cannabis kids' clothing, and who do you think you are, and this and that. I was very, very surprised. I would expect that from a non-weed audience, but this was from people who smoke weed, and they were that conservative. Fascinating. The Weed Porn Daily podcast is also brought to you by 420 Goodie Box. Check them out at 420goodiebox.com. It's a monthly subscription box service for stoners. They've got ganja-related goodies to keep you satiated every month. Join now for less than $20 a month, and $5 shipping. And they'll stuff your box with the coolest 420 lifestyle gear, novelties, and munchies. So you'll get stuff like monster drinks, popcorn, chocolate bars, but you also get pipes, you'll magazines, get like cannabis-related magazines. I saw like pipe cleaning fluid, just basic, and a vaporizer, just a bunch of like stuff that you would find at a head shop. They throw it together in a box, like a mystery box, every month and send it to your door. It's a very popular thing with basically everything. I don't know, like the subscription box service thing has been like really blowing up for the past year, and I was amazed that the cannabis scene really hadn't jumped on it yet. Like they have Miss WeedPornDaily bought some for like cosmetics, I think, or like she got like a candle and some shit, like home lifestyle, you know, and they have food ones where they'll literally just deliver like a thing of either dessert or like snacks, or they have every facet of the food industry covered. So this is like the cannabis one, you know, every month you get a little mystery box delivered to your door for only $25. It's pretty fucking sick. We're gonna get one very soon. I'm gonna do a unboxing video so you guys can get an idea of what comes inside the box. Like, you know, you won't get exactly what I get, obviously, because it's randomized every month and mysterious. But you get an idea of, what a lot of people do is they'll buy these boxes for, you know, how it's $25, and then, the box will say, you know, it's an $80 value. Yeah, right here it says the box value is between $40 to $75. So I'll pull apart the box, show you each item, and I'll be like, you know, this is like $5, this is like $10, and I'll add it all up, and I'll show you guys the, true value of the box, and like, you know, just how excited I am over and everything, just everything, yeah. If you're interested, a lot of people are really interested in this, and, you know, there isn't too much information on it because it's a very new company. They literally just started this month in December. But you can check out their YouTube, 420 Goodie Box on YouTube. They have a video up on how it works, and I posted it up on the Tumblr blog as well. But it's just a quick little infographic-esque graphical video that that basically breaks down what I just said. You know, it's a mystery box every month, the price, and all that stuff, and the kind of stuff that you'll get in it. And they show you more pictures in the video than they do on the site. So it's nice. 420 Goodie Box, man. It's really fucking sick. Like, everybody's been, like, really excited about it. I've seen a lot. Every time I post, like, on Tumblr or tweet about it, I get someone replying saying, like, oh, man, I gotta get this for my hubby, or my boyfriend, or my girlfriend. Like, it's one of those presents that's just very easy to get for someone. And you can give it as a gift on the website as well. Yeah. So it's very nice. 420 Goodie Box, man. Show them some love, man. They are our new sponsor. If you'd like to advertise with the Weed Porn Daily podcast, head over to weedporndaily.com/advertise, and there you can find both advertising packages, or 3, I'm sorry. We have one for the website, where you can post up advertising on the sidebar and the main content area, and it's a graphical or textual link. You can get advertising on the podcast, of course, and you can also get advertising on our social networks, Twitter and Instagram. So make sure to check it out. weedporndaily.com/advertise. Seriously, I was looking around the other day, and we have the cheapest advertising plans out there for like what we are as a company and just everything. Like, if you want a really good example, look at us, and then look at our prices and everything, and look at our followers and everything, and then go over to Hail Mary Jane, and then check out how fucking fat their advertising packages are. Well, I think we have more followers than they do in a lot of regards, and we get like more hits and stuff, and they charge $300 for their standard advertising package, and ours is $50. So you can fucking see how much you save by choosing Weed Porn Daily. I mean, I don't want to rank on Hail Mary Jane. They also have, like, I guess, they've been around a long time or whatever, or something. Or maybe they do. I don't know, but seriously, like, look at, like, how many Twitter followers they have, Instagram, all that, then compare it to ours, add it all up, and you'll see, like, it's a great fucking deal to advertise with us. WeedPornDaily.com/advertise. The most affordable advertising out there. For stoners, I guess. Or probably out there, period. Alright, let's get this bowl sparked up of the Candy Kush and the blueberry, because I've been really excited to smoke it. It gets me really chatty. It gets me really like mellowed out, but relaxed and happy. Like, just every feeling that I struggle to achieve in my everyday life. It grants me on a much easier scale, literally a smoke. So thank you, Ganja Gods, for blessing me with this bowl. Let us say a prayer to our pot predecessors that laid this path for us and allowed us to be able to smoke this bowl very affordably and with less persecution, most importantly. And to the people struggling right now in prison, who have been imprisoned for a plant. And yeah, this one's for them too. So I hope you have your bowls packed, your hash nails heated. Hope you have your lighters nearby, because that's like, I don't know how many times I've had a bowl ready, and then I look around and there's no fucking lighter. And literally, I smoke 90% of the time probably at my desk, and there's like a bowl of lighters, and somehow it escapes me. But yeah, hope you have your lighters on a leash, and I hope your edibles are baked and cooled. So cheers. Oh. Wonderful, thick, voluminous smoke. Slightly rough, but thankfully the lungs are seasoned a bit today. And burned black as fuck. And very hard to burn, but not surprising. It's hard to find a properly flushed bud these days. Whew. Welcome to the Weed Porn Daily podcast. Excuse me, I'm Grouch, the editor, owner, designer, the dude who pisses everybody off with gifts. If you want to check out Weed Porn Daily, head over to WeedPornDaily.com. Follow us on every social network from Twitter to Vine to Facebook to YouTube, all Weed Porn Daily. The only one that's different is Instagram. That's at Ganja Grouch. And yeah. Thank you guys for listening. It's another lovely, lovely podcast. It hasn't been too long since the last one, but I've just been feeling the itch to jabber, to jaw on a bit. Just had so many thoughts buzzing through my mind, and I expressed one of them today through the ask box, but I've just had so many concepts that I'd hope to convey to the podcast audience. But of course, as always, there's a batch of really good news to get right into and sink our teeth into here. If you want to follow along with the news, you can head over to the podcast post or our website and just hit the news button on the side. You can search for the news in the Google search, or you can, I feel like there was another option. Check the news tag, which is basically clicking the news button on the side. So the first article here, good news. I want to start off with some good news. It's just by chance. Colorado lowers medical marijuana fee patient fee to $15. This comes to us from the Denver Post. Medical marijuana patients will be dramatically lowered to $15 annually beginning early next year, the State Board of Health decided Wednesday. In a 7-1 vote, the board lowered the $35 patient fee by 57% to $15. The change is mainly because of the fact that the registered state fund has more than enough money to cover administrative costs, said Mark Sally, spokesman for the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. In fact, there is an excess of $13 million. The board felt it was appropriate to make this change, Sally said. The $35 fee was slashed down from $90 in 2011. When the program was started after voter approval in 2000, the annual fee was $140. So we've seen a substantial drop, to say the least, and it's fucking fascinating that the department has an excess of money, and rather than being greedy about it, they slash the price yet again, and they say, hey, we're gonna make it more affordable for you because we're sitting on like a boat of extra money here. That's fucking, I just commend Colorado more and more every day. There are just a lot of admirable aspects about the legislative departments, man. They really got their shit together over there. Doomed legislation to loosen New Jersey's medical marijuana law advances. This comes to us from NJ.com, I think. Yep. Governor Chris Christie has vowed to veto it, but Democratic lawmakers today ignored him and advanced a measure that would expand the state's medical marijuana law so that patients can go out of state for their pot. Under the bill, A4537, which passed the Assembly 5023 with 7 abstentions, patients from other states would also be able to buy medical marijuana in Jersey. The bill has not yet passed the state Senate. Lawmakers wrote the bill with the help of Megan and Brian Wilson of Scotch Plains, whose 2.5-year-old daughter, Vivian, suffers from a drug-resistant kind of epilepsy called Dravet syndrome. The Wilsons wanted to purchase a strain of marijuana from Colorado grower, but were unable to under New Jersey law. And even though the state has relaxed regulations to allow edible forms of the drug that the Wilsons needed, they're not yet available at New Jersey's 3 open dispensaries. Excuse me, getting like that dry mouth, yo. We are tired of waiting, Brian Wilson said in an email. So it's just a sad case of just a lot of children and a lot of people having to suffer in New Jersey, not only because of the limitation of access. You literally have 3 dispensaries in the whole state. I mean, it's a small state, it's not California or anything, but you have to imagine, like, you're in one county and you have to drive another county over if you want to get your medicine. That's a little far, especially if you're handicapped, disabled, or you have you're handling someone who is handicapped or disabled, and you can't be necessarily leaving them for long periods of time, or it's not easy, or there's just a lot of complications. And just the fact also that they can't get their strain, that there's such legal knots in our system that someone just can't mail like a seed over to New Jersey and help these people out. I mean, they could on the low, you feel me? But that's illegal. And they can't, get a clone and drive it over, which would also just be traumatic, I think, for the plant. That would be very hard. Or they just literally just can't, mail them the medicine from the other state. They know this is going to cure the child. They know that this isn't for any, recreational purpose. They can't get it, because of the system, they can't get it. And I could really understand the frustration of someone who's dealing with, a child who has essentially, an incurable disease, and you're watching them seize every single day, constantly, and it's just like you watch the videos. If you have the time, or if you haven't seen them, check out the Sanjay Gupta documentary. I think there's one on Weed Wars. There's basically every weed documentary features like a kid with Dravet syndrome, and it's always heartbreaking. It's just, yeah. So it's really terrible that Chris Christie is still being an asshole and tightening his grip here. Well, I mean, we'll see, because those are old words. They're like rehashing what he said when a kid from Dravet syndrome died. So that was like weeks ago. So when this bill actually hits his desk, we'll get an up-to-date Christie-like response. We'll see how the death of these children and the suffering of these children weighs on his consciousness, and if he lets it just slide past his desk without his signature. Because he doesn't even necessarily have to sign it. If he's so prideful that he feels like he doesn't want to be a part of it, he can literally let the bill slide past his desk, and after like a certain period of time, it goes into law automatically. That happens a lot. Like Obama does that all the time. It's a thing. So we'll see very soon. It's nice that we're seeing support from the Congress. It's very nice. So we're just waiting on the actual governor to not be such a fucking dick. Seriously. I'm saying it. Everybody's saying it. Everybody. I post this, and every time I post anything about New Jersey, I get like one Christie hater. It's crazy. Well, it's not crazy. It's completely logical. I'm looking at it right now and seeing a couple. I'm sorry. So yeah, the next article. Guatemala considers legalizing opium growing. This comes to us from Stop the Drug War. Guatemalan President Otto Perez Molina and other government officials said repeatedly this week that they are considering legalizing and regulating opium poppy production in areas where it is already being grown illicitly. That's something of a surprise, but perhaps it shouldn't be. According to a Guatemalan press report, the proposal is one of a group of reform recommendations made by Amanda Fielding of the Beckley Foundation, the British drug reform and legalization group, which has had an office in the country since last year. Very interesting. It's nice to see that Guatemala is leading the front on. I'm waiting for a burp to come. You can hear my hesitation. Oh, it left. Okay. All right. It's wonderful that Guatemala is leading the way here on legalization stuff. It's fascinating that they're I think I reported last time on the podcast that people were trying to give Guatemala shit for legalizing weed, and the Guatemalan president came out and he literally said fuck you, go check your shit, we know we're in the right, go check the numbers, we're doing the right thing here, you're just talking shit over there, shut the fuck up. It was wonderful to see, it wasn't that raw, but it was pretty raw for a president. So it's nice to see that they're taking the next step, because really, whenever we legalize cannabis, that is usually the next question that gets asked. You're going to legalize cannabis? You're going to just legalize heroin and crack and all the other drugs too? And yeah, maybe. Yeah, why not? Why have, these drug cartels and these illegal opium grows having go on under the nose of the government when you could easily just make them legal, regulate it, get taxes from it, and also ensure that people who are getting heroin are getting a safer heroin. Even though we maybe don't want to support people getting heroin, at least we know that they're not going to be getting moldy heroin or, heroin cut with something else. We can start ensuring much safer drugs. And just safer environments. Imagine not having all these farmers having to, grow these crops legally. And it's just, there's just a lot of sticky situations that regulation handles. It takes it all away from the black market. I never understand what do people want? If not legalization. You're gonna want decriminalization? Okay, so you're gonna have drug gangs running around still making lots of money from the illegal drugs. We're not gonna be making any money from taxes, and people are still gonna be getting fined for the drug. You have not solved the problem at all. You put a bloody bandage, you put a salty bandage on the wound. I don't understand. Legalization really seems like the only logical answer. And and drug rehabilitation. I think Guatemala and Portugal really is where I've heard it the most. They've decriminalized drugs, and they are the ones who encourage rehabilitation of drug users rather than incarceration, which is wonderful. I mean, in a way, if they want to be rehabilitated. But yeah, just good news. Good news in fucking Guatemala. Legalizing all those drugs. Everybody's just going to be running to Guatemala. It'll be interesting to see the shockwave it sends in South America, if at all. Well, it has to send a shockwave, but we'll see how much of on the Richter scale it lands. This I won't. Maybe I'll read it a little bit, but it was just something that I posted because it's just science, like science and stoners. I feel like it is like it goes hand in hand. I feel like we want science. It's been a decline of science because of prohibition and a decline of the study of cannabis. So now that whenever we get any little study that we can about CBD or THC or this or that, we suck it up and we just absorb it like a sponge. It's ridiculous. So getting high on the endocannabinoid system by Dana. Dana.org. It's just a article that goes into how cannabis works, the history of cannabis. I posted another one as well in the science tag that talks about the history of, or not the history of cannabinoids, but I guess it literally is. Like basically like what animal first developed the endocannabinoid system that allows us to get high and things like that. Just little facts and scientific tidbits that are really interesting. Really good to write down in your Evernote or your notebook or whatever. So check it out. Always make sure to follow our science tag. Just always like fascinating shit in there. This is how marijuana consumers want to buy the legal weed. This was an interesting infographic from HuffPost. I won't read the article, but basically, people say that 69% of people think that it should be at a pharmacy. 60% of people think that it should be at its own store. 90% of people think that it should be at the liquor store. 17% think coffee shops. And 13% at the supermarket. So that's like that seems like a logical like map. Like most people want to see it at a pharmacy because that's where all the other drugs, quote unquote, are. A lot of people want to see it at its own store because they've seen the dispensary model and they see how it works. And it just can work in its own store setting. It's shown that it's a diverse enough product base to support that. They have more dispensaries than Starbucks. It's a fair assessment that marijuana storefronts can persist. And then liquor store, that's interesting. I guess group it with the other drug. Literally we said regulate it like alcohol. People must think literally put it with the alcohol. So that's interesting, and that would cover up a lot of the a lot of dispensaries have to open up far away enough from schools and churches and all that, and I believe that standard lies with liquor stores as well. So it would just be really easy to open up cannabis in what is it, the KFC Taco Bell? It would be like liquor store weed. I guess I can kind of see it. Coffee shops was very interesting to see on there. And I'm kind of sad that there weren't more. Because I would love to see cannabis. Because really, what it is, and I don't think people realize it when, we group cannabis with coffee. It seems like such a simple, thing, throwaway decision. But what it says on a level is rather than putting it in a liquor store, where we have, people who are required to be 21 and it's very very restricted, and there's an environment to a liquor store, it's very serious, very adult. And then you go to a coffee shop, and, it's a drug that's socially accepted. Even kids can come in and get coffee. That's how much we've accepted it. It's okay for a little kid to get cranked up on caffeine because he needs to study for his tests and stuff. But it's not okay for him to smoke weed because of some reason. Whatever. So to put cannabis in the same place as coffee would, send a statement to society. It says something in Amsterdam. It says cannabis is a soft drug. Cannabis is like coffee. I'm gonna smoke my joint, and I'm gonna drink my coffee, and it's on the same level, and that, would be a radical statement for the American mindset. So I think more people should support the coffee shop setting. We're seeing it a lot in these states that are legalizing it right now. People are wanting to not only open up these, marijuana storefronts, but they want to be able to open up like a smoke bar, like an ancillary area where you smoke. And, these states have a lot of anti-smoking laws for businesses. It's going hand in hand with cigarettes now, when cannabis smoke may not necessarily carry the same amount of carcinogens as those chemically laden cigarettes that people smoke. So we're seeing a lot of people trending towards coffee shops when it goes legal. It's like a natural progression. So it's interesting to see that people didn't go to that in the poll. I mean, it may just be like their group set or whatever, but we'll see. We'll see. I think coffee shops will be more popular. And supermarket was kind of a stretch. I mean, not really, because you can buy liquor and cigarettes at a lot of supermarkets, so it's just very logical. But I just don't see it being very popular, especially with the social stigma and things like that. A lot of supermarkets want to keep it clean, and that image of what is it I wasn't gonna call it white America, but that was very racist. It's more just that white collar America. Yeah. So speaking of coffee shops, that's why I wanted to harp on it so much. Colorado venues trying to be marijuana friendly. This comes to us from the SL Tribune. A recent flyer for a 420 friendly comedy and burlesque show at the Herman's Hideaway featured marijuana leaf logos, sponsorship from the Daily Doobie newspaper, and a note that said, "Smokeout starts at 7:10, show at 8:30. That's just silly, I'm sorry. Also gives me a chance to drink water. The promise of consequence-free pot consumption is more than a marketing tactic. Sorry. It's just this article. The promise of a consequence-free pot consumption is more than a marketing tactic, show co-organizer Cameron V. Humanity said. Her name is literally Humanity. But I guess I've seen that. It's a take-charge solution to the unresolved problem of public pot use in Denver. There you go. What the city wants is for it to be not only used openly, is for it not to be used openly and publicly. And that's why we do it inside, said Humanity, a Denver comedian and co-owner of Sketchy Entertainment, the show's promoter. They're not helping her credibility here. Whether it's indoors or outside, marijuana use is prohibited in any space open to the public in Colorado, despite being approved for recreational sale and private use within the passage of Amendment 64 in November 2012. Some business owners say that creates a fundamental problem when trying to regulate cannabis like alcohol, as Amendment 64 was intended to do. That's actually a really good point, because you can consume alcohol in the place that you buy it, usually. And when they were trying to create it as essentially like a synonym to alcohol. That's interesting. That was a really good point, man. That was a good point, brother. We're going to have a major nuisance issue once the new year comes, because we're allowing millions of people to theoretically come and purchase marijuana, but there's no plan to consume it, said Kavan Katalatbari, the co-owner of Denver Relief Dispensary and a national cannabis consultant. Also a very good point. You know, you have to be at a private residence in order to consume it, and then they're not allowing these public businesses to do it, or even like them to create like private-esque cannabis clubs. So where are these people going to come and smoke? They got to come and essentially have like a buddy or a hotel that would allow smoking, which most don't. So people are stranded without a place to smoke in Colorado. Very interesting. Very good. Another good point for smoke shops. An increasing number of Colorado shows and concerts, from stand-up comedy to hip-hop and jam bands, are being promoted as marijuana-friendly, with the implication that the staff will ignore any pot use, as been the custom at many rock concerts for decades. That was a nice little fucking touch at the end. But, yeah, we've been seeing that a lot with, California, Washington, basically anywhere with medical, well, not anywhere, but a lot of places that are loose with medical marijuana and marijuana use in general. Comedy shows, weed and comedy goes right together. You know, you want to get stoned, you want to loosen up. It's just like why they allow, drinking there as well. You know, it makes the comedians funnier. You know, I'm not to insult them at their craft, but even they'll admit it. You know, it's way better when people are sauced. Sometimes. Especially weed, though, because weed is so harmless. You know, someone's sauced, they get aggressive, but when someone's weedy, they just sit there, they giggle, or they space out, or they fall asleep. Like, what? That's the perfect audience member. So it's really nice to see that a lot of comedy shows are really supporting this and stepping out and basically protest of these limitations, you know, because they're essentially in violation of the current standard set. So that's nice. It's nice. So we'll see. The 2006 Colorado Clean Air Indoor Act, which prohibits cigarette and cigar smoking in most bars, restaurants, and venues, was amended this year to include marijuana smoking. Police in various cities and municipalities are charged with interpreting and enforcing that law. So there you go. They are in direct violation of the Colorado Clean Air Indoor Act. So, again, it'll be really interesting to see how much backlash we get. You know, I'm sure more counties will be looser than others and things like that. But I want to see if just coffee shops open up, or we get these smoke bars or things like that, you know, dedicated places, because those I think will be much more difficult to open up than saying like a comedy show that some people can just come in and smoke. You know, that'll be not harder to bust, but they just won't want to bust it as much as, say, like a dedicated coffee shop. So Colorado, man, that was interesting, because we've been seeing that front being led in Washington. A lot of bars were doing that private thing, and they were getting shut down and not allowed to. So Colorado now stepping in as well. Very nice. Naperville okays medical marijuana rules. This was an interesting article. This comes to us from the Chicago Tribune. Medical marijuana dispensaries looking to open up in Naperville, Illinois, will be allowed to do so in some retail areas and can have drive-through windows. What? Can you imagine? Can you imagine, brother? Rolling up to your dispensary and just rolling up through the drive-through. Like, you just pull up. What would you like? Quarter pounder with cheese. A quarter pound of cheese. And what do you want, honey? She wants some banana kush edibles. And yeah, that'll be all. Thank you. God, fuck, I'm trying to make the dude where's my car joke, and I can't remember what the fucking lady says. And then do I get a pre-roll with that? And then I don't know, do we need like hash nails or something? No, we're good. That'll be all. The quarter pounder with cheese, the banana kush edibles, and what was that? The free pre-roll? We should get a free pre-roll with that. And that'll be all. No, I won't do it again, but just imagine walking up, doing that, rolling through, getting your little bag, putting it into the car, driving off, and then going to McDonald's, pulling up. Yeah, can I get a quarter pounder with cheese, a large fry? Can I get a Oreo McFlurry and apple pie? 2 apple pies. What am I thinking? 2 for 1. Like how glorious is that? That's every stoner's dream. Or rolling up to Taco Bell and then pulling up to the dispensary, eating your Taco Bell in the dispensary line, because there's going to be a line at the dispensary, finishing the Taco Bell, getting your weed, possibly going home, smoking more, going out again, going to Taco Bell, and the cycle continues. It's a wonderful thing. Illinois, man, that was not expected at all from you guys. But I'll continue with the article because there's actually more. The Naperville City Council approved regulations for dispensaries and cultivation centers before the drug officially becomes legal for medical purposes January 1st. Cities are not allowed to prohibit such facilities entirely, but they can impose more stringent zoning regulations than the state, which has rules about proximity to homes and schools. So Naperville Council members agreed to limit cultivation facilities to industrial areas and require owners to go through a hearing process. And we'll probably see the really strict counties require testing, parking, things like that as a way to circumvent pop-up dispensaries and things like that. But really, it's a wonderful thing that they're not allowed to prohibit the facilities. That's an excellent thing. That makes a huge statement. You're saying, we're trying to provide medicine to people. This isn't recreational weed. This is people with cancer, with glaucoma, whatever. Cancer, nausea, extreme pain, maybe muscle problems, multiple sclerosis, multiple muscle spasticity, all those conditions. Serious shit that gets cured by cannabis, they want access, especially if they voted on it. So for a city or a county to ban it, that it's an incredible slap in the face to the voters, and it's wonderful that the city council basically went ahead and basically cut them off on that front. So that's it for the news. Wow. That was a good time on the news. I felt like I got ranty on some of those, but not bad. Yeah. If you'd like to keep up with the news, you can follow the news RSS feed, man. The latest 10 news posts always are basically any of our tags. You can follow the RSS feed. So if you're interested in getting your specific state, if you want to see only science posts, if you only want to see activism or legalization posts, you just go to blog.weedporndaily.com/tagged/say news and then /RSS. And add /RSS basically to any tag. And you can get that 10 post feed. Get your 10 post feed of weed. Yeah. That's nice. I don't know if any of you guys use feeds. I feel like I advertise it and it goes on deaf ears. I'm the only person who uses Feedly and shit. But then I go in the app store and you see the fucking feed readers are still incredibly high, and I'm sure people, I don't know. But yeah, the RSS feeds are always there if you guys are interested, man. Alright, let's get a little into the WeedPornDaily side of things, and we can babble for a bit about the ass box and things like that. On the WeedPornDaily end of things, I've got the Huff Socks selling incredibly well. We've basically, I basically sold enough to pay off the order that I made, and once I accrue a little bit more, I'll make another order to refresh the stock. I was kind of scared that we were gonna like sell out and then have to wait a while to restock. But we've been able to just accrue enough profits like in the first couple days to restock. So that's fucking phenomenal. I really appreciate it. Like, I can't even put words on it sometimes, just how phenomenal these words, they escape me. It's fucking fantastic that whenever I see a sale or just any response, like, especially when I see, people post themselves with the product, that is unreal. Like, I think a guy posted himself with the socks that I sold him. People have been posting up the wicks all the time. It just blows me away to see people, utilizing the products. Because it's very, it's just very, just unreal for me. It's just, I put it in a package, put it in a box, and then it disappears, and then I can kind of digitally track it, through the tracking number, but not really, and then I see that it's delivered, and that's it, and I never know if you really got it, or if it was like, I would know if it was stolen. I'm sure you guys would report it, but I don't know that you guys got it. I don't see it, or it's not like a store where you get that satisfaction of handing someone the product and they hand you the money and you see them walk away with it and all that. So it's really nice to see when you guys post up products. I love it. Submit them anytime. I post them really promptly. Even if I tend not to post when people tag stuff WeedPornDaily, because I want people to use the submission box. But when you tag a product WeedPornDaily, I can't help it and I'll reblog it. Yeah. I think a guy, he posted up the 2 Huff socks he ordered. He ordered green on white and white on green. And it was literally just like a cell phone picture of the 2 socks. And he got over 200 notes in one afternoon. I'm sure when he came back to his computer, he was just blown away by that effect. So yeah, anytime. Post it up, guys. People love the Huff socks. Honestly, it's something I see that just a lot of those skater blogs and hipster blogs, it's just one of those things that's just commonly rebloggable. Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for buying them up. I'm gonna order some more soon, hopefully some more colors. I was really surprised to see just how fast the black ones went. I kinda knew after buying the white ones and seeing how slow it went that you guys really wanted black socks. Cause I'm sure it's the same reason anybody wants black socks. They fucking they don't show dirt as much, they seem to last longer, and I don't know, when you buy socks for more than if you don't buy them in a 3-pack Hanes economy shit, I kind of want them to be black, because I feel anything other than those shitty Hanes ones has to be luxurious, and black is luxurious to me. So I'm gonna order plenty more black. I'm gonna order the black sock with the green leaf, black with the gray, and black with the pink, because I have a really good feeling that I'm not tapping into that market. Excuse me, I may post a post soon of the whole sock collection and see which one you guys want, and just get a tally of which one's the most popular and stock up those. Basically I have to buy them in sets. I have to buy them in 12 packs, I think, or 24 packs. So I can't necessarily pick 1 or 2 of this color, so when I buy them I have to commit to a color and know that color is going to sell out. Or at least at this point, because every penny counts at this point. So I'm trying to get the most popular colors. So if you guys want to leave me an ask with your favorite Huff sock color, your dream Huff sock color that we don't have, feel free. I'll start keeping a tally, and we'll order some more soon. You'll see that on the Huff tag on the site, or probably on Twitter. Hemp Wick's going crazy too. I'm not going to talk much about that. I basically finished the back order from Black Friday. and the holiday season, like, fucking, it blew up. Like, I've never sold so many wicks ever. And, we're back on track. Like, I have an actual stock of wicks now on my shelf. So when people order, you know, it's not a matter of me having to run out, buy more hemp, make the wick, you know, like I have wicks ready and I can just cut it off and ship. So that's very convenient, very nice, to be in a comfortable place. I was fucking running around like a chicken with my head cut off with hemp rope and shit. It was pretty intense. Like I felt like I was, subjugated by the hemp rope, like those Japanese bondage things, man. Like fucking, I could not move or get my work done fast enough. It was crazy. Yeah, that was a stretch. But hemp wicks are going fine and well. I'm loving it. I switched up. I don't know if you guys noticed. We used to sell 50 feet, and now we sell 40 feet. That's to conserve economically and environmentally on like envelopes and stuff. We were sending out the 50 feet in just like these huge envelopes, and like it was just like required because of like the weight. And now 40 feet is like just under like a certain limitation, and it'll be a lot easier and cheaper to send. So hopefully that works out well. And I'm also gonna start changing up the 400 feet soon. I wanted to give you guys a heads up. I'm going to start taking apart the balls. I think like 50 feet or like 100 feet, probably like 50 feet off, just initially, to reveal the ball. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed, the 400 feet balls, they tend to accrue more wax. Because I literally just dip it and I give it to you guys. And the way that the ball is like woven, it's like once you unravel the hard shell on the outside, it's like one layer, and then there's like a weird honeycomb pattern on the inside. And that honeycomb pattern tends to accrue a lot of excess wax. And the lower orders, what'll happen is I'll literally while I'm cutting the wax off, I'll strip the excess wax. But with the 400 feet orders, you know, I can't do that unless I literally unravel the whole ball, which I actually used to do, and then reform the ball. So I'm going to probably experiment with that, just cut off the initial 50 feet and torch it a bit to get the excess wax off, or steam it or something, I don't know, I'll figure it out. And yeah, they'll come a lot better. Like the 400 feet you'll get like 350 feet ball, and then like a little 50-foot little thing, but it'll come like fucking perfect. Like no excess wax, like it'll be awesome. So I wanna hopefully change that soon. It's basically what every other company does. Like if you notice, every company sells like 300-foot balls by standard. And that's because you unwrap the first 100 feet to reveal the honeycomb pattern that you normally see the hemp wicks have. And that extra like 100 feet they just like sell or throw away, or well, not throw away, but they just sell. And I just wanted to provide you guys that extra 100 feet, you know, but now I see like production wise like why that's like a bad decision. So I'm trying to find like a little workaround and still give you guys like the best deal. Yeah. So hemp wick is going as well as it can, man. Labels should be coming very soon. Like I'm working on the design. I wasn't too happy with some of the iterations of it, but I'm tweaking it, and you should see like wick orders soon with legit labels and shit. That'll be nice. So yeah, that's enough WeedPorn Daily talk. Cause you'll be seeing plenty of puff socks. I did like a photo shoot where I took like 100 pictures of each sock and shit. So I have plenty of promotional images to pimp them and stuff. So you'll see that every single day, undoubtedly. Oh, I love you guys. I don't know how you guys put up with me sometimes. I ask Miss WeedPorn Daily the same thing, like every day too. Oh man, it's incredible. So I wanted to talk about, I want to start off with the ask today. We got an ask today, that got like a lot of reblogs. I was surprised. I just wanted to go on a little tirade, and people really like resonated with it. And I think it's like a problem that a lot of people deal with. And some of the stuff I said probably shed some light on some aspects of it for them. Basically, I'm like fucking building up here. If you want to check it out, go to the Ask tag or the WPD FAQ, all one word, tag. And that's the WPD FAQ. That's the tag where I put all the answered questions. Like, Ask, you'll find all the questions from like the silly GIF ones to the real answers. And then the WPD fact, that's like legit answers only. So that's a good one to browse occasionally if you're tired of my bullshit and you want to remind yourself that I'm not full of myself completely. But yeah, the question is, basically I posted, let me preface it, I posted a question that said, I'm so high right now and it's 9 a.m. and I put a GIF, and the GIF, is from Half-Baked, I think is a movie, and it has, the guy from like Dazed and Confused, fuck, I forget the guy's name, he's like, his classic line is, high school seniors that get older, they stay the same age. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Or something like that guy. It's the shot of them in the movie, all sitting around smoking, and it flashes pothead over their head. And I knew that when I posted it, that, there would be a group of, sensitive Nancys that would see that and take like offense to it and be like, hey man, I get stoned in the morning, I wake and bake, and I'm not a pothead, okay? Pothead is somebody, which is what this question says. I'll read it. Personally, I believe there's a difference between a stoner and a pothead. Like, a stoner is like the really cool, laid back, hippie kind of guy, while a pothead is that really scummy sort of person that picks up half-smoked cigarettes on the side of the road for free rolling papers. Like, yeah. So that. You know, you get people with that impression of pothead. So when I jokingly use the word or the phrase, they put that connotation on it, and suddenly the joke carries like a negative offense, and they become offended, and they would prefer me to use stoner or some other word that doesn't offend them. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. So I wanted to answer the question and really tackle the problem of language. Because I feel like language is something that holds us back as a society, and it's something that people manipulate a lot of the time for malicious intent. Particularly, and I mention it in the Ask, marijuana, the word itself, literally did not exist before like the 1900s. It was invented by Harry Anslinger and his little prohibition propaganda group while they were trying to demonize the drug in newspapers and publications and things like that. And they wanted to think of a word for weed or cannabis, because people were already, they already knew cannabis. Cannabis was a common medicine that you could get from your doctor and get a prescription for. Cannabis was something that people commonly smoked. It was something that existed for hundreds and hundreds of years. So he had to reinvent it and use a new word to make it seem evil. So he came out and he said marijuana. It kills you, and it causes cancer, and it does this and that. And you can check out Harry Anslinger's quotes. They're pretty fucking ridiculous. But people would say to him, hey, you're talking about cannabis, right? Cannabis doesn't hurt anybody. I smoke it all the time. And he's like, no, that's marijuana, and marijuana kills you. So by redefining it by a new word, he was able to trick people into thinking that the same thing, they were literally talking about the same thing, but by calling it something else, he was able to put a whole different kind of definition behind it, and a whole different kind of consciousness behind it. Suddenly, You didn't look at the joint and think, wow, that's cannabis. I could smoke that and it's not going to kill me. It's fine, whatever. It's healthy. You look at the joint and you say, wow, that's marijuana. I saw that Reefer Madness movie. That's going to make me go crazy. Like, it suddenly it warps the whole perspective on pot. And that's all word manipulation. It all started with just literally people abusing words. And it's I don't want to make it seem like I don't want stoners or pothead or the words. Like, words are okay. It's wonderful when we use words properly like tools, and when we use them to actually come together. We use them to create more acceptance rather than using the word to create more boundaries. We see this a lot with racism and sexual suppression. We see it a lot nowadays with sexual suppression. You can't really call somebody a tranny. That tranny has such a negative connotation attached to it because people put a negative connotation on it. When really tranny is a transsexual, is like just a human being, with like a certain set of sexual standards. It's all these words, they just muddle the truth and reality, and it becomes very dangerous and a slippery slope at some point. I use the word drug as a really good example because drug is this huge word that we just create like negative connotations for. You have a lot of people basically just saying, drugs are bad, drugs are not good for you, don't do drugs, pumping you full of this propaganda, using the word drug as like a just a standard for not a standard, but like just setting a new standard with the word. And you look at the dictionary and what is drug? Literally the word drug means something that you consume and elicits a physiological effect on the body. So coffee is a drug. Food is a drug. And basically, most of the things that we consume on a daily basis are drugs, by definition. But what we do is we say, no, drugs are heroin, drugs are crack, drugs are weed. These are the drugs. And prescription pills are drugs, but those are a different kind of drug. And we set these very interesting standards when literally our definition, allows for a greater acceptance. But no, we want to create these boundaries. We want to create these, I called it accessible gateways for moral alienation. I should just read it because it was so much more eloquent than I'm making it sound. You're part of the problem. Creating these artificial labels in society as if humans were made to fit into molds rather than flourish uniquely. Applying negative connotations to words simply imprisons the innocent in social stigmas. We've seen this since the dawn of time, from racist uses, spades, Mondays, chinks, to sexual suppressive uses, tranny, fag, lesbo. Even the government and conspirators have used the evil word manipulation. It's why the word marijuana exists. It's a product of prohibition in the early 1900s. The word literally didn't exist before that. Imagine a world where the government makes up a new word for tomatoes, like terrormato, and then campaigns for tomatoes to be illegal, but calls them terrormatos. For decades, the campaign goes on, trickling down to every facet of society, to schools teaching anti-terrormato drug programs, to cops arresting terrormato growers and sellers on a massive scale. What kind of effect would that have on society? And it all starts with the demonization of a word. I enjoy cannabis, and also happen to have a myriad of other qualities to my character. I may or may not fall loosely within these labels, but they never define or limit my persona. Applying these blanket statements for a negative regard, like grouping people together as scummy potheads, simply creates an accessible gateway for immoral alienation. It's easy to disregard someone's humanity when you're classifying them as something clearly defined. Yeah, he's a human being with a story, but he's a scumbag pothead. He deserved to go to prison for smoking a flower. It's awesome when we come together under these labels in an attempt to create more acceptance. Though, the second that we use the words to create boundaries, we've only begun to hurt ourselves. It's these games we play with words that draw indistinguishable lines. We love the word drug. It's such a heavy hitter. Drug. For most, it's heard and immediately evokes images of heroin users skin popping, crack smokers lighting up spoons, etc. We're pumped full of the mantra since childhood. Don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. But what are drugs? Drugs are a product that when ingested create a physiological effect. So anything that we consume that changes our body chemistry is a drug, from coffee to chewable vitamins. Yet we create this connotation of the word drug that paints a very particular prohibitionist picture of a terrifying drug addict. How can we distill such an expansive existence into crude symbolism? Words are flexible vessels for thought that are held back by the likes of dictionaries and the creatively suppressive. If you guys have a chance, check out the Terence McKenna talk on how they limit the growth of society. He does an amazing job of breaking down the war on drugs and the manipulation of language. So that was the post. Make sure to check out that Terence McKenna talk. It's basically on the psychedelic experience, or not the psychedelic. It's the Psychedelic Salon podcast. I posted a link in the Ask post, but it's the It's the 372nd episode of the Psychedelic Salon podcast, entitled "The Intentionality of Meaning," and it's a speech by Terence McKenna that discusses that, just exactly that, like words and the manipulation of the word marijuana, and he does a much more eloquent job of describing it and describing the issue in society and things like that. It's just a fascinating talk, very enriching, highly recommended. But really, use labels to bring your friends together, but never use labels to put people down, man. Like, it's as simple as that. Call me a pothead, call me a stoner, I don't care. But as long as you don't have a negative connotation behind it, I don't care what word you use. You could make up a whole different word, but as long as you have a negative connotation behind it, I'm not gonna like it. I'm not gonna play the game where I'm like, oh, certain words mean this, certain words mean that, and my dictionary is this. Like, dictionaries are flexible. I am going to figure out what you mean. I'm gonna look at the intentionality of meaning. I'm gonna look behind your words, and I'm gonna see what you intended with your words. And connotation is a very wonderful tool for that. Highly encourage you guys to do that. Don't get caught up on words, man. Don't get caught up on labels. Who gives a fuck? Black, white, purple, brown. Doesn't matter what color your weed is. Yeah. Let us see. I have one more thing to talk about. Here we go. Medicinal use versus recreational use. I don't know if you guys I feel like this is a really common argument that a lot of people have in their lives, and something that they have to defend themselves with or define an argument for, things like that. But what is medicinal use versus recreational use? A lot of people tend to see all cannabis use as medicinal, and a lot of people see all cannabis use as recreational. There are a lot of sides to that coin. So actually only two, but it's interesting to see people's take on it, and how people tend to attack people on it. I forget where I saw it, but basically it was on the cannabis radio in Colorado, hosted by the guy who does the Daily Doobie and the guy that could fly. I forget what it's called. Reefer Madness, I think it is. But they were discussing basically that, they would smoke recreationally when they first started smoking because, hey, they started smoking when they were 14. You know, they were smoking just for fun. And then eventually they started reading up on cannabis and learning the benefits, and then realizing that their recreational use also was medicinal, and that they also could apply the medicinal aspects maybe to other parts of their lives and take it on a more serious medicinal level, transforming like their use. So it was interesting to see that, because that was my case as well. You know, I started smoking for basically fun. You know, I broke up with my girlfriend, and my friend was like, "Hey, you want to smoke weed?" And I was like, "You asked me at the perfect time of my life," because I wouldn't have done black tar heroin, but like weed was like there, and it was perfect, and I did that, and you know, started smoking, and it was just literally because I enjoyed that feeling of, you know, I guess it kind of was medicinal, being de-stressed and exploring the high and the psychedelic portion, and seeing like the colors get brighter and tastes get better and senses improve and things like that. So it kind of was recreational in a lot of aspects. And then after a while, I started noticing my health degrade due to improper diet and treatment and stress and all that, and just life. And I noticed that cannabis would help incredibly and improve my state. And without cannabis, my state would basically drop dramatically. You know, my normal state would be really shitty, and cannabis would bring me to like a non-shitty state. So it was the same thing with me, you know, the transformation from recreational to medicinal. But you know, I feel like people who don't support pot as much, or you know, maybe are afraid. Like, I feel like a lot of people have that fear instilled in them of addiction, and they see any habitual use of something as a danger of addiction. And, you know, they're constantly, like, they try to be your guardian angel. And I hate that. That is, like, one of my worst pet peeves, when somebody tries to be responsible for your use of something. You know, like, unless it's something crazy like those crazy morphine pills that they prescribe you, and someone has to like give you them because you can get easily addicted. And even then, I feel like people have really strong wills and don't necessarily need that, you know. But yeah, there are a lot of people that just impart that secondary or external responsibility onto others, and you know, they see this medicinal use, and they're like, "Are you sure you're not just smoking for fun? You know, like, hey, is your back hurting that much?" You know, they start questioning you like that, which is fucking audacious. But, you know, I started thinking about that, and I was like, you know, if I really, truly smoked recreationally, like if like right now I consider my use purely, basically medicinal. I smoke like a recreational bowl like once a week, maybe. Every time I smoke, it's medicinal. I need to either relieve pain, anxiety, stress. I need to eat. I need to sleep. Like, it's like a necessity, and weed is the gateway to that. And I look at, you know, like, what would my recreational life be? And I'm like, man, I would be smoking fucking 3 joints a day, 3 blunts a day minimum. The 3 joints a day would be optional. You know, I'm not too big of a joint guy. That would be like to mix it up. But I am a blunt guy. I would have to have minimum a blunt in the morning, a blunt in the middle of the day, and a blunt at night. And maybe more. And then bong hits and vape hits throughout the day. Of course. It's gotta keep me lifted, brother. Like, the blunts are gonna keep me steady, but the bong hits are gonna keep me like fucking, it's gonna peak me on that mountaintop. I'm gonna be on top of Everest, and I'm gonna be like, what's up? I can see the world, nigga. And then I'm gonna fall back down to my blunt center and be cushioned, and then hit another bong and fly back up. And then I'm gonna take a vape hit, and it's gonna be like a private jet, and I'm gonna feel like the encapsulation, and like I'm wearing like soundproof headphones and shit, and like fucking I'm being fed caviar, and I'm suddenly soaring at a much steadier rate. like, my recreational use would be much more. And edibles. Like, not to mention edibles, just everything. I would consume, like, every form of cannabis I could, because I love cannabis. It's wonderful. So to say in any way that, this taking a bong hit here, taking a bong hit there, when, like, I'm crippled over in pain, and in any regard, to call that recreational use, that would be flabbergasting. And anytime anyone uses cannabis medicinally, it's crazy. I forget where I heard it originally, but it's crazy how people think they have pain goggles. They think that they can look at someone and say, wow, you look healthy, so you shouldn't need cannabis. As if they can x-ray like Superman and see, like, oh, your leg, doesn't have that fracture in it from that ski trip, and you don't constantly have a pain going down that leg. Or, hey, you don't have, asthma in your lungs. Or, like so many things, like, or cancer. Like, oh, I see that tumor. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, it's crazy, the perspective that people take. So that was nice. It was really refreshing for me to sit back and just be like, what would my recreational use be like? And it's basically just a fucking recording of any Urban Grower episode, any like Weed Report, like Snoop Dogg. I wouldn't be as like crazy as those guys maybe, but it would be consistent cannabis all day. And even then, I feel like my medicinal use right now is not even truly medicinal. I limit myself incredibly because of the cost of cannabis. Right now, cannabis is just fucking blown up because of black market taxes, or just literally like the limitation of access. And I look forward to this future where we'll get like the Uruguayan, what was it, like a $1 gram? Like, if I could get a $1 gram, I would be smoking much more medicinally. I wouldn't feel so bad. Like, I know it, I see it all the time, when people say like, oh, I just smoked a bowl and then ate. Like, people will get inflamed and be like, how could you waste the weed like that? Like, you just killed your high. And the person will reply back like, dude, I literally smoked to get my appetite. Like, you're preaching to the choir here. Like, I know I'm sacrificing my high, but it's the only way I'm gonna eat, It's the same way with me, I'll smoke to eat, and then literally, I lose the high, and I'm like, fuck, there goes, like, the recreational aspect, but at least, like, I'm healthy now, and if I wanted to get high, I'd have to smoke another bowl. And even then, it'd be a little harder to do the food in the system. It's hard, man. It's hard limiting. Like, if I could just smoke bowl after bowl until I'm at the place I need to be, that would be much better than having to ration. I'm sure I'm preaching to the fucking choir. I'm sure I'm in a much more privileged place than a lot of people in most of the world. I get messages all the time from people that are like, man, you don't know how good you have it in the US or Canada or just anywhere, like, not here. Like, I'm in Brazil right now, and the only way you get weed is if you grow it yourself. Or somebody that grows it. Like, it's crazy. Like, I couldn't imagine being in that kind of intimate situation or just those kind of environments. And crazy. Yeah. So yeah, recreational use, medicinal use. I feel like we'll all just smoke a lot more pot when it gets cheaper, and it'll all still be very medicinal. What do you guys think? Do you think that all cannabis use is medicinal? It's kind of one of those gray areas. Like, it is, in a way. Like, even if you're smoking it, even if you're burning a lot of the beneficial cannabinoids away, you're still getting beneficial cannabinoids. You're still de-stressing. Like, even just the fact that you de-stress has incredible repercussions on your consciousness. It's like adding a meditation regimen to your daily routine. You just would have so much more clarity in your life, and that's literally because you're clearing your mind. You're not doing anything fancy, you're not consuming any crazy chemicals, you're literally just managing your mind, and cannabis helps with that. So there's a lot of, I was going to say metaphysical properties, but I suppose it's psychological, positive properties to cannabis that I would love to see explored in the future. Because we see a lot now, a lot of like hardcore science where it's like, hey, cannabis affects this part of the liver, cannabis affects this part of the brain, you know, cause and effect. But we're not seeing the delicate art of psychoanalysis, which takes a lot of time, a lot of study. I mean, we kind of do, but we're seeing it with like limited studies, and we're seeing it with bullshit artists. We need to see some legit psychoanalyzations of the psychedelic realm. Yeah. So thank you guys for joining me. I feel like I've been babbling plenty. Yeah. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate it. Like I'm sure there are some, I don't know, I say I'm sure, if there are any out there that think that I'm some ungracious asshole who just replies with gifs and is just like some unfeeling robot. You know, I am an unfeeling robot. I really love everybody, you know, and I read every message that you guys send me, even the trolly ones and everything. I just put those in the badass book. I read every single positive message, even if I don't post it, I still read it. It enters my consciousness, it gets acknowledged by me. Don't feel like, you know, you're ignored. I'm sitting on an inbox of like, I think like 2,000 plus messages now. And I slowly, every day, I do like 10. I go down, I do 10, you know, I try to like, I go down further. I'm like, oh, you know, I have an answer for this one now, you know, and I try. I really do, but it's hard. I get an influx of new questions every day, but I appreciate every interaction. I appreciate every reblog, every like, you know, I pay attention. Every little retweet, every favorite, I get notified of it. Instagram, every like, every comment I try to reply to. I really appreciate the fan base. You know, if you don't come at me like a complete asshole, I'm not gonna come at you like a complete sardonic, snarky fucking stoner. You know, I'm gonna come off like a pretty kind, cushed out, dude. You know? So, yeah, I love you guys. I love how much you guys love the Huff Socks, though. I think I love that more than you guys. No, I'm just kidding. I love you guys more. But the love for the Huff Socks is pretty intense right now. It is like the perfect Christmas present, I'm telling you. I was thinking about it, man. Like, the Huff Sock is the perfect stocking stuffer. Like, it's like one of those gifts that you can get anybody. One size fits all, so you don't have to worry about, like, fucking picking out the perfect size. You just literally buy them. I mean, you don't have to worry about the color, maybe. But color, I feel like people, you ask your friends, like, you know, what's your favorite color? You're like, you tend to know that. So I'm telling you, perfect stocking stuffer. Throw it under the tree, throw it in their face, they won't care. Weed socks are fucking sick, dude. Like, these are hot as shit. Like, don't let any of the fucking, like, hipster people tell you that it's not cool, or that it's lame, to try to, like, oh yeah, I'm wearing weed stuff outside, I'm so rebellious. Like, no, dude, I just like wearing weed stuff. It looks cool, I like weed, and weed socks are a really subtle way to wear weed in public, especially in a place where it's illegal. Like, nobody's gonna see that, especially if you're wearing, like, jeans, and, or, like, some bell-bottoms, especially, or something, I don't know. So yeah, Huff Socks, man, fucking a sick investment. Check it out, or hemp wicks, or stickers, or any of that jazz. WeedPornDaily.com/shop. Yeah, I love you guys. I really appreciate it. I, appreciate the support. Please show some 420 goodie box, some love and support, because they really helped us monetarily. Any sponsor, make sure to really, show them some love, show them some support, let them know that WeedPorn Daily sent you, because, They help pay the bills, man. They help keep the podcast alive. Like, I was looking at it the other day, like each podcast episode is like over 100 megabytes, and we've got, I forget, over like 30 podcasts now. And then each, if that's like over, 3 gigs already, and then imagine the whole catalog is on tap, and then you can just click into any one and spend like 100 megabytes bandwidth. So if every single view is like boom, 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 like over 100 megabytes bandwidth. So that's really heavy server load, and that is really expensive. So they help pay for that, and they help pay just for everything. Like, it costs like a lot of money just to run a business, man. You'd be surprised. Like, the fucking, from the domain to the hosting to the fucking, to the licenses, it's fucking ridiculous, son. So thank you guys, 420goodiebox.com. Check them out. Buy a subscription box. I'm telling you, it's fucking sick. If you aren't on that subscription box game, I don't know what you're doing with yourself, brother. Like, get on that subscription box game. It's a wonderful way to get just a range of products, freshen up your life, keep things like new and fresh, and like engage yourself with new products without having to invest, with that heavy shelf price. You're getting it at a much reduced cost because you're getting it at that mystery bulk package deal. So yeah, check it out, 420goodiebox.com. Follow them on Twitter, follow them on YouTube, Instagram, all that jazz. And make sure to follow us on everything, WeedPornDaily.com, Twitter, all that. Oh, my voice gave out from pimping too much. I love you guys. Thank you for everything. Hope you guys have plenty of green this season, and I hope you, if not, I hope you find somebody who's very compassionate with their cannabis, because 'tis the season to toke with your friends and be jolly and high. Thank you for listening. Can I say thank you again? Can I say I love you again? How about I say it intimately? I love you. Oh, yeah. I love you. Yes, you. Oh. Tickling that ear pussy. Oh. I love you guys. Stay regular, super stoners.